Okay, so today we are going to solve some problems. Okay, the first question is, you have 9 different objects, okay, and you want to distribute the 9 different objects among 3 persons, A, B, and C, okay, and all objects must be distributed. All objects must be distributed, okay, and the first part is, find the number of ways of distribution of all objects if no restriction. If no restriction is there, then each object, you have 9 objects, let's say O1 till On, then each object has 3 choices, right? So total number of ways in the first case would be 3 to the power n. Hold the 3 objects, hold the 9 objects in your hand, okay, and for each object check how many choices does it have. It has 3 choices, either it can go to person A, B, or C, okay, and no restriction, so it doesn't matter how many objects each person gets, okay. Second, A gets 4, B gets 3, and C gets 2. Again, this is pretty straightforward. You see, if you recall, while starting grouping, I gave 2 methods of derivation of the grouping formula, okay. By first method, what you can do is, out of the 9 objects, select 4 which you want to give to A. Then out of remaining 5 objects, select 3 which you want to give to B, and then remaining 2 objects will go to C, okay. This is the way in which you can select the objects and distribute amongst A, B, C. Alright, this is one way. Alternatively, what you can do is, you see, by grouping formula, by grouping, what you have to do is, you have to group 9 objects into 3 groups, right? One group is of size 4, one group is of size 3, and one group is of size 2, okay. This is the number of ways in which you can, this is the number of ways in which you can form the groups, okay. So in this formula, what's important is which object will go into which group. But now we have to distribute the formed groups also. Now we have 3 groups, right? We have 3 groups. Now we want to distribute them amongst A, B, and C. But there is only one way of doing so, because the group of size 4 must go to A, group of size 3 must go to B, and group of size 2 must go to C. So there is only one way of distribution. Okay, don't multiply it by 3 factorial. Okay, that would be wrong, because A can get only a group of size 4, B can only get a group of size 3, and C can only get a group of size 2. Alright, okay. Now in the first method, if you think about it, when we yeah, so either you can use this thing or you can use grouping. Both of them are equivalent, where they are the same methods only. It's just different way of understanding the concept, okay. All right, okay, then C part, each gets at least one. So again, if each gets at least one, then I gave a procedure for solving such problems, right? So method 1 is, either you can, form cases. For example, you have 9 different objects and you want to distribute them in amongst ABC. So one distribution would be, let's say, 7 1 1, then another would be 6 2 1, then another would be 5 3 1, then 4 3 2, then 3 3 3 3. All right, now if you write d6 as, now if you write 2 here, then this will I told you that you can write them in non increasing, non decreasing sequence. Okay, okay, now if you write do 2 here, then obviously this will be 6, or this would be 4, or this would be 3, but this case is already counted here. Okay, so we will stop here. So there are 5 possible distributions. All right, and then corresponding to each distribution you will form the number of groups. Okay, and then you will distribute those groups amongst 3 people in 3 factorial ways. So you will get n1 here, similarly you will get n5 here, so n1 plus n2 plus n3 plus n4 plus n5, and then you can distribute the formed groups in amongst 3 persons in 3 factorial ways. So this will be your answer. This is method 1. All right, so another way of looking at this is, since there are only 3 persons, okay, we can use bijection rule. So required number of ways is total minus unfavorable. Now what are the unfavorable cases? First, what are the total number of cases? You see, the total number of, what are the total number of cases? I mean, in which you can distribute 9 different objects among 3 persons. That is nothing but, each object has that is nothing but 3 to the power 9, right? The answer to the first part, when there is no restriction at all. Okay, out of these unfavorable case would be when A gets nothing. One of the unfavorable cases would be A gets nothing, but B and C get at least 1, right? A gets nothing and B and C get at least 1, minus B gets nothing and A and C get at least 1. Similarly, C gets nothing and A and B get at least 1, right? And there will be a case when you see, there will be a case when when 2 people get nothing and the third one gets at least 1, right? So there will be a case when 2 people get nothing and third one person gets at least 1. Alright, so basically third person gets at least 1 means all the remaining 9 objects will go to the third person and 2 people won't get anything. Okay, now let's see. A gets nothing but B and C get at least 1. Now in how many ways can that happen? When A gets nothing and B and C get at least 1. Alright, so can you see that you have to distribute 9 objects amongst 2 persons, right? You have to distribute 9 objects amongst 2 persons because you don't have to give anything to A. So 9 objects remain and you have to distribute them among B and C. So how many ways can there be? 3 to the power 9 minus, so in 2 to the power 9 ways you can distribute the 9 objects amongst 2 persons. But in this 2 to the power 9, there will be a case when everything goes to B. B gets all the 9 objects and C gets nothing. See, A is anyways getting 0 objects. In 2 to the power 9, ways A gets nothing, but there will be a way when B gets all the 9 objects and C gets nothing, or C gets all the 9 objects and B gets nothing, right? So we subtract those two ways. Okay, similarly for this and this, so into 3. All right, now two people get nothing and third person gets at least 1. Now select any two persons. All right, select any two persons to whom nothing is to be given. Okay, select two persons to whom nothing is given and then distribute the remaining 9 objects to remaining one person. In how many ways can you do that? 1 to the power 9. All right, so this is your answer. All right, okay, okay. Then the next part is A and B get equal number of objects and each one of ABC gets at least 1. All right, now A and B get A and B get equal number of objects. Okay, all right. Now, okay, by the way, in part C, bijection rule works because the number of people is small. It's only 3. But grouping method would be little bit lengthy. But if number of people is more, like 4, 5 or more than that, then use grouping method so that no case is missed. Okay, because in bijection rule you have to subtract the unfavorable cases. Okay, so that is the tricky part. In case of 3 people, the number of unfavorable cases was easy to count. Okay, now D part. A and B get equal number of objects and each one of ABC gets at least 1. So case 1 can be, okay, A, B, C. So suppose, what are the possible distributions that you can have? A can get 1, B can get 1, C can get 7. Then 2, 2, 5, 3, 3, 3 and 4, 4, 1. All right. So simple. You have to form 3 groups. In this case, you have to form 3 groups. One of group size 7 and 2 groups of group size 1. So the ways are 9 factorial by 7 factorial, 1 factorial square and 2 factorial, because there are 2 groups of group size 1. Okay, and then once you have done, this is your n1, then n2 would be similarly 9 factorial upon 5 factorial, 2 factorial square, 2 factorial. All right, then n3, similarly you can calculate, this is 9 factorial upon 3 factorial cube into 3 factorial, and similarly n4 you can calculate. Now you have formed the groups, that is which object will go into which group, that possibilities you have taken care of in these n1, n2, n3 and n4. Once you have formed the 3 groups, now you want to distribute those 3 groups amongst 3 persons. All right, but note that you don't have to distribute 3 groups amongst 3 persons, because A and B, there is an extra condition that A and B must get equal number of objects. So basically these 2 groups that you have of equal size, one group has 2 objects, let's say O1 and O2, and second group will have O3 and O4. All right, so which one of them goes to which one of them goes to A or B, that is important. So n1 plus n2 plus n3 plus n4 into these two groups of equal sizes, that you can distribute amongst 2 people in 2 factorial ways, that is amongst A and B. All right, so this is your answer. Another way to think about this is, you see, you have to give one object to A, one object to B, all right, and C will get 7. So what you can do is, out of 9 objects, select one that you want to give to A, then out of the remaining 8, give one to C, and then remaining 7 give to C. Then second way is, A gets 2 objects, B gets 2 objects, and C gets 5 objects. So 9C2 into 7C2 into 5C5. Similarly, 9C3 into 6C3 into 3C3 plus 9C4 into 5C4 into 1C1. Alright. Okay. So you can do in this way also. Okay. Now you might ask that why have we not multiplied this result with 2 factorial? Why have we not multiplied this with 2 factorial? Because once we have selected the elements, we have to select either to give the objects to either A or B, right? But you see, but those cases have already been taken care of when we multiplied here, because I told you, I'm emphasizing again that multiplication includes order. So when I multiplied 9C1 into 8C1, which object I chose here and which object I chose here, that order is already included here. I choose O1 here to give to A, or I choose O2 here to give to B, or I choose O2 here or O1 here. That has already been taken care of in this. Okay, so there is no need to multiply additionally by 2 factorial. So you have to take these things into consideration. So if you multiply by 2 factorial, that would result in overcounting. Okay, so this is your answer. Now suppose if I say that number of objects which are given to A should be greater than number of objects which are given to B, and number of objects given to B should be greater than number of objects given to C. Suppose we want to find the number of ways in which you can distribute the 9 objects amongst A, B, C such that this condition is satisfied. Okay, then again this is quite simple. What are the possible distributions? A can get 6, B can get 2, C can get 1, or 5, 3, 1, or 4, 3, 2. These are the only possible distributions which are possible. Then corresponding to this, form the number of groups. Okay, corresponding to this, form the number of groups. Again, use grouping here. And what are the number of ways of distribution? Once you have formed the groups, there is only one possible way of distribution, right? There is only one possible way of distribution. Don't do 3 factorial or something like that. Only one possible way you can distribute the groups. Once you have a group of size 6, one group of size 2 and one group of size 1, there is only one way you can distribute it. 6 must go to A, 2 must go to B, and 1 must go to C. Similarly for these two cases. Okay. Now if I say number of objects given to A must be greater than number of objects given to B, and number of objects given to A must be greater than number of objects given to C. Okay, suppose this is the condition. Then again form possible cases. One case is 7, 1, 1. Another is 6, 2, 1, A, B, C. Then 6 to 1. Then there is 5, 3, 1, 5, 2, 2, 4, 3, 2. All right. Now you see. Now okay. Now you see, if you take this case, then number of groups that can be formed is 9 factorial upon 7 factorial 1 factorial square into 2 factorial. This is n1. Okay, but then these two groups, they can be distributed among B and C in 2 ways, right? So 2 factorial. Here distribution is important because these two groups which are equal in size, they can be one group, which group goes to which person, that is important now. But 7 size group must go to A only. Then this one, you have 9 factorial by 6 factorial, 2 factorial, 1 factorial. Okay, and this must, and again you have two possibilities: either the group of size 2 will go to B, or either it will go to C. Okay, so there are 2 factorial ways in which you can distribute these two groups. All right. Okay. Okay. Now, similarly for this one, you have n3, which is 9 factorial by 5 factorial, 3 factorial, 1 factorial into 2 factorial. Okay. So these are the number of ways in which you can form these groups. Okay. Then these two groups of size 3 and 1, they can be distributed amongst two people in 2 factorial ways. All right. So this is n3. Then n4 would be 9 factorial upon 5 factorial, 2 factorial square, 2 factorial. Okay, into 2 factorial again. And then similarly this one would be 9 factorial upon 4 factorial, 3 factorial, 2 factorial into 2 factorial. So add all of these and that will be your answer. See, remember that we have already taken care of distribution here itself in each of these cases. So don't again multiply by 2 factorial. I have directly included distribution here. Okay, so answer will be sum of all these. So n1 plus n2 plus n3 plus n4 plus n5. Distribution is included already in this. 2 factorial is already multiplied, this factor. So don't multiply again. This is your answer. Okay. Now, next part. Suppose I ask you what are the number of ways in which you can distribute 9 objects amongst 3 persons without any restriction, and without any restriction all objects and all objects need not be distributed. Okay, but at least one object must be distributed. That is, there exists one person at least who receives some object. Okay, so again this is very simple. You have person A, person B, person C, and make a box here. Okay, so there are 9 objects and 4 persons. So 4 to the power 9 ways without restriction, minus 1 the case when everything goes into the box. So pay attention to what is given. All objects need not be distributed. All objects need not be distributed. That is important. Okay, this is your answer. Then last part would be if I ask that if exactly one object to each person, then this is simple. First of all, select three objects which you want to give to each of the 3 persons, and then arrange them in 3 factorial ways. So this would be our answer. Okay. All right. Then there are similar questions that you can solve. For example, suppose you have 8 different books. Okay, you have 8 different books, and you have 3 students. Then find the number of ways such that each student gets at least 2 books. Each student gets at least 2 books. Again, this is simple. What are the possible distributions? 4, 2, 2, or 3, 3, 2, right? This is step 1. And then step 2 would be grouping. So n1 would be 8 factorial upon 4 factorial, 2 factorial square, 2 factorial. Similarly, n2 would be 8 factorial upon 3 factorial square, 3 factorial, 2 factorial, 2 factorial. Okay. And then once you have formed the groups n1 plus n2, then you can distribute those 3 groups. See, you formed 3 groups. Now you have to distribute them amongst 3 persons, 3 students. That can be done in 3 factorial ways. So that is the answer. Okay. Now let's solve some more questions. Question. Suppose you have n different games. Alright, you have n different games that are to be distributed amongst n children. Alright, then find number of ways of distribution if first all games distributed and no other restriction. No other restriction means doesn't matter if a particular child does not get any game at all. That is also acceptable. So that would be game, hold the n objects, n games in your hand. Then game 1 will have how many choices? It can go to n children, any of the n children. Similarly, game 2 can go to any one of the n children, and so on till n. So this would be n to the power n. Second, if I say again that find number of ways of distribution if there is no restriction, but at least one object should be distributed. Rest there is no restriction. That is, it is not necessary that all objects are to be distributed, but at least one must be distributed. So again, you have child 1, child 2, so on till child n, and you make a box here. So you have 1 plus n to the power n ways of distributing n objects amongst 1 plus n people, minus the one case when everything goes into the box. Okay. Or as I said earlier, you can think like this also, that if at least one object has to be distributed, then you can do like this also. Exactly one game distributed, plus exactly 2 plus 3 plus 4 and so on till n. Now what are the number of ways in which you can distribute one game amongst n children? So first of all, select the one game that you want to distribute, and then it has n choices. It has n children out of which it can go to any one of them. Then select 2 games, and then you have n square, n into n, right? N into n. The 2 games, each of them have n choices each, and so on till ncn into n to the power n, which is nothing but 1 plus n to the power n minus 1. Okay. Then third question, if I ask that if exactly one game is given to each, then that is simple. It is just n factorial. Okay. Then fourth part, if I say that suppose one game must be given to each, exactly one game to each, and 5 particular people or children, 5 particular children get 5 particular games. Or another way of saying this is exactly one game is to be given to each child, and 5 particular games are to be distributed among 5 particular children. Okay. So again, quite straightforward. You have 5 games. Okay. Now distribute these 5 games amongst 5 particular children in 5 factorial ways. Okay, separate these 5 games and separate those 5 particular children. So you can distribute these 5 games amongst those 5 particular children in 5 factorial ways, and then remaining n minus 5 games you can distribute amongst the remaining n minus 5 children in n minus 5 factorial ways. This would be your answer. Okay, fifth part. Exactly one child gets no game. Distributing all games. Okay. First of all, this is wrong logic. That if you say that first of all select a child who gets no game, okay, well and good. Select one child who gets no game, and then remaining n minus 1, then what you say, if you say that we distribute the n games amongst the remaining n minus 1 children without restriction, such that all games are distributed. All right, what I'm saying is, now you select one child who will not be given any game, so remaining n minus 1 children are there, and you want to distribute n games amongst these n minus 1 children. Okay, and that can be done without restriction in n minus 1 into n minus 1 into n minus 1, which is nc1 into n minus 1 to the power n. This is wrong because you see this includes the case when children other than this selected child get no games, but the question says that exactly one child gets no game. Okay, the question is saying that exactly one child gets no game. When you are distributing n minus 1 and when you are distributing n games amongst n minus 1 children, then there will be cases when children other than this selected child who will not get any game at all. Look at this, what, right? So but that is not allowed because only exactly one child is there who will not get any game. Okay, so keep that in mind. So correct logic would be, one way is, you see, you select a child who gets no game. Okay, select a child who gets no game. Okay, then what you do is, you have n games, right? N games you have. Now think about it. If n games are to be distributed amongst n minus 1 children, such that each child gets at least, if no, see, think about it. Okay, one thing that I forgot to mention is exactly one child gets no game, distributing all games. And okay, yeah, okay, now you see, think about it. The question says exactly one child gets no game. That means every other child must get at least one game, right? Every other child apart from this one must get at least one game. So what is the possible distribution? The only possible distribution is 2, 1, 1, so on till 1. Okay, this is, so these are n minus 1 groups. So basically what we are saying is, we have to distribute n games amongst n minus 1 children. That means we have to form n minus 1 groups. Okay, and exactly one child will get 2 games. one of the child will get 2 games and remaining n minus 2 children will get 1 game each. That is the only possible distribution. So what we will do is, one way of thinking about this is, select a child who gets no game in NC1 ways, then n factorial upon 1 factorial to the power n minus 2, n minus 2 factorial, 2 factorial. What is this? This is the number of ways of grouping n games into n minus 1 groups with n minus 2 groups of size 1 and 1 group of size 2. Alright. Now you have formed n minus 1 groups. Okay. Then you have n minus, see, this is just grouping. Okay, I am saying this again and again. This is just grouping. Which game goes into which group. But now you have n minus 1 groups and you have n minus 1 children, and you want to distribute n minus 1 groups amongst n minus 1 children. So that can be done in n minus 1 factorial. So distribute the formed n minus 1 groups amongst n minus 1 children. So this is your answer. Another way to think about this is, or NC1. This is select a child who gets no game. Okay. Then out of the remaining n minus 1 children, select a child who gets 2 games. No game. Child with no games, 2 game child. Okay. Then out of n games, select the 2 games you want to give to this child. Okay. And remaining n minus 2 games you can arrange in n minus 2 factorial ways amongst the, you can distribute the remaining n minus 2 games amongst n minus 2 children in n minus 2 factorial ways. So this is another way of looking at it. This is select 2 games. Alright, so what I am saying is, first select a child who gets no game, then select the child who will get 2 games. Okay, then select 2 games which you want to give to this child. Okay, and then the remaining n minus 2 games you have to distribute among the remaining n minus 2 children. Okay, now similarly you can do something like this. Exactly 2 children, see, both of these answers will obviously be same, this one and this one. Okay, that's quite obvious. It is just they are 2 different methods. Exactly 2 children get no game. All games distributed. Okay. Alright. Now you see, in this case, what are the possible distributions? Case 1. 2 children get no games at all. Then one child will be there who will get 3 games, and remaining n minus 3 children will get 1 game each. Sorry, 2 n minus 2, n minus 3. Yeah, remaining n minus 3 children will get 1 game each. Or it can happen that 0 0, 2 2, 1 1 1 1. Okay. Okay. So answer would be case 1 plus case 2. Now in case 1, how you can proceed is just like in part 1, just like in the previous part. First of all, select the 2 children. Okay, select the two children to whom no game is to be given. Okay, then out of n minus 2 children, select one child who will be given 3 games. Okay, then select 3 games. Okay, and then distribute the remaining 3 n minus 3 games amongst n minus 3 children in n minus 3 factorial ways. Okay, so this is the same logic that we used in the previous part. In the second case, again select two children to whom no game is to be given. Okay, now two children will get two games each. Okay, so what you do is select two children out of n minus 2 children, select two children together, select two children together to whom two games each are to be given. Now I'll come to a very subtle point just in just a minute. Okay, then select two games out of n games which are to be given to first child. Then out of remaining n minus 2 games, select two games which you want to give to the second child, and then n minus 4 games are remaining and distribute them among n minus 4 children in n minus 4 factorial ways. So answer would be case 1 plus case 2. Now you see, you might ask that why did we select two children together? Okay, why did we select two children together? Why we did not do this? NC2, then out of n minus 2 children select first child, then remaining n minus 3 children select one child, then NC2 into n minus 2 C2 into n minus 4 factorial. Alright, but see the problem. So you get what I'm saying, why this is wrong? Because overcounting will start occurring now. You see, the order in which a child is selected is not important. When you do this thing, now it matters whether, suppose A was selected first or B was selected first. Okay, and here anyways you are selecting two games. Okay, you are selecting two games here, and then from the remaining n minus 2 games you are selecting two games here. Okay, that is okay. Here you are doing it separately. Here you could have done this also. You could have selected four games. You could have selected NC4, four games out of n games. Okay, but then you have to also decide which two games will go to which person. So 4C2 into 2C2. This factor NC2 into n minus 2C2 can also be written like this. You can understand it in this way also. That is one thing. But here, this factor n minus 2C2, n minus 2C2, this you cannot break down into this, because it doesn't matter which person you select first. Ordering of the persons is not important. Here in NC2 into n minus 2C2, it is important which two games are going to which person. Okay, so as I said, NC2 into n minus 2C2 can also be understood in this way. You select four games first, select the four games that you want to distribute. Okay, and then once you have selected the four games, you can't just stop there. You have to decide which two games must go to which person. Okay, so 4C2 will go to one person to select two games out of four, and then remaining two games will go to the remaining person. But here we are saying that select two people together rather than selecting one after the other, because ordering of the persons is not important. Okay, ordering of the persons is not important. See, suppose what will happen is the problem. What is the problem that will occur here? The problem that will occur is, suppose A gets selected corresponding to n minus 2 C1. Okay, and B gets selected corresponding to n minus 3 C1. Okay, and suppose A gets games G1 and G2 and B gets games G3 and G4. Okay, so we have A gets G1 G2 and B gets G3 G4. Okay, Now what will happen is, it can also happen, this is one case, it can also happen that B gets selected corresponding to n minus 2c1 and A gets selected corresponding to n minus 3c1. Okay, and again you can give games G1 G2 to A and G3 G4 to B, right? Because this is already taken care of in this factor. So do you see that these two cases, this and this, they are getting counted twice, because paying you are giving importance to the ordering of selection of you're paying you're giving importance to the order in which A and B are selected, but that is not relevant at all. Okay, so these things you have to take care of these kind of things. Okay, so finally in this part the answer would be, case 1 was NC2 into n minus 2c1 into NC3 into n minus 3 factorial, plus case 2, which was NC2 into n minus 2c2 into NC2 into n minus 2c2 into n minus 4 factorial. Okay, and this thing you can equivalently write as NC4 into 4c2 into 2c2. Okay, so this is your answer. Okay, now let's move ahead. Now the next question is, you have 9 different games, okay, and they are to be distributed amongst 5 persons, okay, and these persons are, let's say, A, B, C, D, E. Okay, all right. Now question is that at least such that at least one game to each person, one game is given to each person. Okay, first part is, if there is no other restriction, if there is no other restriction, then what are the number of ways of distribution? Then that is simple. You have possible distributions are D1, you can have 5 1 1 1 1, or you could have D2, which is 4 2 1 1 1, D3, which is 3 3 1 1 1, or you could have D4, which is 3 2 2 1 1, or D5, which is 2 2 2 2 1. All right, so these are all the possible distributions. Again, we have done this kind of question before. Find the number of groups formed in this each of these cases. All right, and then you have basically 5 groups. You have 5 groups. After you have formed the groups, you have, for each case you have, suppose this one is n1 number of groups, n2 number of groups, n3, n4, n5. Okay, so finally you have n1 plus n2 plus n3 plus n4 plus n5, and then you have these many groups in which you these many ways in which you can form 5 groups of various sizes, and then you can distribute those 5 groups amongst 5 people in 5 factorial ways. So this would be your answer. All right, now if I say number of objects given to A must be greater than number of objects given to B. All right, number of objects given to A must be greater than number of objects given to B. Now note that Now this is the interesting thing. You see, the distributions that we have obtained in the first part, the first part, these are all the possible distributions. All right, these are all the possible distributions. There can be no other distribution which is possible. Which group will go to which person, that is a different case, but the distributions are these 5 only. There is no other way in which you can distribute 9 different objects among 5 persons. Okay, so when I want NA to be greater than NB, for instance, corresponding to D1, we had 5, 1, 1, 1, 1. Okay, so corresponding to D1, there is only one, the group of size 5. This must go to A only. There is only one possibility. A can only get a group of 5, and out of these 4, B will get any one group. Alright. Similarly, corresponding to D2, you have 4, 2, 1, 1, 1. A can get, there is only one possibility, A should get, one possibility is that A can get this group of size 4 and B can get a group of size 2 or 1. Okay, or A can get a group of size 2 and B can get any one group out of these 3, doesn't matter. Okay, and okay, so in this way we have to think along these lines. Okay, now you see how to proceed. You see, in the first case corresponding to D1, suppose there are n1 ways of grouping. So n1 is what? N1 is 9 factorial upon 5 factorial, 1 factorial to the power 4, 4 factorial. This is your n1. Okay, so n1 is the number of ways of grouping. Okay, then once you have formed the groups, you want to distribute the groups also amongst A, B, C, D, E, such that this condition is satisfied. Alright, so there is only one way of giving groups, give group of size 5 to A. There is only one way of doing this. Okay, and remaining 4 groups, the remaining 4 groups of size 1 each, that you can permute amongst B, C, D, E in 4 factorial ways. It doesn't matter which one gets which. Okay, because anyways this condition is satisfied. Alright, this is one thing. Then plus, corresponding to D2, you have n2 number of ways of grouping. Okay, now first possibility is you give a group of size 4 in one way to A. Okay, and then distribute the remaining groups. See, in D2, there is only one way in which you can give a group of size 4 to A, and now it doesn't matter which group goes to B. You can either give it a group of size 2 or group of size 1. It doesn't matter. Our condition will be satisfied anyways. Alright, so distribute the remaining groups in 4 factorial ways. Then second possibility is you give the group of size 2. There is only one group of size 2. There is only one way to distribute it among A itself. So give that group of size 2 to A. Alright. Now, so now you see, once you have given group of size 2 to A, now B can get only these groups which are of size 1 each. We have to ensure that it does not get the group of size 4. Okay, so what we do is select a group of size 1 which you want to give to B. So this is select a group of size. Why are we making the selection? So that to ensure that it does not get the group of size 4. So there are 3 groups of size 1 in D2. You check. There are 3 groups of size 1. So select one out of these 3 only. you can't select the group of size 4 to be given to B. Okay, so in 3C1 ways you can do that. Select a group of size 1 for B. Okay, and now you have given group of size 4 is done, and one group of size 1 is done. So now one group of size 2 is left, and two groups of size 1 each are left. So distribute the remaining groups in 3 factorial ways amongst C, D, E. Okay, so this one was, you gave one group of size 2 to A, and then you selected a group of size 1 for B, and now remaining groups, out of which one group is of size 2 and two groups are of size one group is of size 4, and two groups are of size 1. So this you distribute among C, D, E in 3 factorial ways. Okay, so this is corresponding to D2. Then corresponding to D3, plus N3 into, okay, now in D3 you have two groups of size 3 and three groups of size 1. So again, similar procedure. Select one group of size 3 for A. This is for A. Select a group of size select a group of size 3 for A into 3C1. You have to ensure that B does not get the remaining group of size 3. So select a group of size 1 in 3C1 ways. See, we have to ensure that B does not get the remaining group of size 3, because NA should be greater than NB. So the remaining groups of size 1, select one of them for B, and then there are three remaining groups. You give it to C, D, E in any way possible. C, D, E in 3 factorial ways. Then similarly D4 would be N4. D4 is 3, 2, 2, 1, 1. Okay. So 3, 2, 2, 3, 2, 2, 1, 1, 5, 7, 1, 1. So one way, give the group of size 3 to A. One possibility is this. Okay. And then B can get either a group of size 2 or group of size 1. It doesn't matter. So 4 factorial plus, now A can get a group of size 2. So select one of the groups of size 2. Then B must get, we have to ensure that B does not get this. So select one group of size 1 from these two groups, and remaining three groups you permute amongst C, D, E. Similarly, this will be added, plus D5, N5 into, now D5 is straightforward. D5 is 2, 2, 2, 2, 1. So basically B can only get this group. There is no other way. Okay. So in this we do the reverse. Give group of size 1 to B. Okay, and then permute the remaining groups amongst the remaining A, C, D, E in 4 factorial ways. So this will be your answer. Okay. All right. Now suppose if I ask that, if one I can ask that find the number of ways of distribution if NA is not equal to NB, then this is same as saying either NA is greater than NB or NB is greater than NA, right? Now NA is greater than NB, this we have already found out, and by symmetry this will be same as this, so this will be twice into answer of previous part. All right. Now next question is, This will be part D. A, B and C get different number of objects. Alright. Now, if A, B and C should get different number of objects, then now think like this. We said earlier that D1 to D5, these are all the possible distributions that can happen. Now in these distributions, what are those cases which will satisfy the situation that A, B, that this the question is A, B and C get different number of objects. So three people, they are getting different number of objects. So what is that? That can happen only in, it cannot happen in D1. First of all, it cannot happen in D1 because only one person, because four people will get same number of objects. It can happen in D2. Okay. It cannot happen in D3. It can happen in D4. And so it can happen only in D2 and D4. So D2 and D4 are only the only possible distributions in which A, B and C have a possibility of getting getting different number of objects. Okay. So D2 is, so again this is straightforward. So D2, corresponding to D2, there are n2 ways of grouping. Alright, n2 ways of grouping. Now out of these groups, okay, now you see, proceed like this. You can think like this. You have n2 groups now. N2 ways of, not n2 groups, you have n2 ways of grouping. Okay. Now corresponding to each way of grouping, now what you do is select, you can do this. You can select, this is select two groups of size 1 to be distributed amongst D and E. Okay. Select two groups of size 1 to be distributed amongst D and E. Okay. Then distribute the two selected groups of size 1 amongst D and E. First you select two groups and then arrange them in 2 factorial ways. Okay. Permute them in 2 factorial ways. So, okay, now the remaining groups will be left. The remaining groups that are left are group of size 4, 2 and one group of size 1. That you can permute amongst A, B and C in 3 factorial ways. Okay. So what we are doing is n2 ways of grouping. Corresponding to each way of grouping, select, first of all select one group. Okay. Select two groups of size 1. Okay. Which are to be distributed amongst D and E. Finish off with D and E. Then those selected two groups you can distribute in amongst D and E in 2 factorial ways. And remaining groups which are of different sizes, 4, 2 and 1, that you can distribute amongst A, B and C in 3 factorial ways. Okay. Plus, corresponding to D4, you have n4 ways of grouping into, see, note that these are number of ways of grouping. Okay, number of ways of grouping in which you have formed the required number of groups. These are the number of ways in which the required number of groups are to be, in which the required number of ways in which you can form the groups. Once you have formed the groups, now you want to distribute. Okay, now you want to distribute those groups. So that is this part. This distribution is this part. This is the formation of groups n2 and n4, and this is the distribution of those groups. That is not taken care of by n2 and n4. N2 and n4 are just ways of grouping. Which object goes to which group? Now which group will go to which person? That is distribution problem. That is this part. So similarly N4. Okay. So now D4 was 32211. 32211. 32211. Okay. So first of all, what you can do is, see, first of all, you see, you want to give different number of objects to A, B and C. So one of them should get 3 objects, one of them should get 2 and one of them should get 1. So 2 is left and one group of size 1 is left. Okay. So first of all do this. 2C1. This means select a group of size 2. Out of these two groups of size 2 each, select a group of size 2 to be given to D or E. Okay. Then select a size. Once you have done that, what 2C1 means, you select a group of size 2 which has to be given to D or E. Then 2C1, select a group of size 1 out of these two groups which is to be given to the remaining person, either D or E. Okay. Then the two groups that you have found, one group of size 2 you have taken and one group of size 1 you have taken, which are to be given to D and E. Then you can permute that, you can arrange, you can distribute them in 2 factorial ways. Okay. This is selection. You have selected one group of size, you have selected one group, select one group of size 2. This is select one group of size, select one group of size 1. Okay, now you have two groups in your hand. One is of size 2 and one is of size 1. Distribute that among D and E in 2 factorial ways. And then there are remaining 3 groups. One is of size 3, one is of size 2, one is of size 1. Distribute them among A, B, C in 3 factorial ways. So this would be your answer. That is this part, this orange thing and these orange thing. Add these two together. That will be your answer. Okay. Now if I say that A and B should get equal number of objects, if I ask you that find the number of distributions in which A and B get equal number of objects. Okay. A and B get equal number of objects. So that is again simple. In the first part we found the total number of ways, right? This you can do by bijection rule. Okay, this you can do by bijection rule. You find the total number of ways and subtract from it. So if I ask you that find the number of ways in which A and B get equal number of objects. Okay, so that will be total minus NA greater than NB minus NB greater than NA. And so total minus NA greater than NB plus NB greater than NA. And this we have done previously in one of the parts, right? We have done this one. This we have and total we have. Okay, so that you subtract from this, you subtract from the total. So this is just the bijection rule. Okay, and the question, pay attention that the question says that at least one game is to be given to each of the persons. Okay, so what is the total number of ways? Total number of ways is, first of all, find all the possible distributions. Okay, first of all, find all the possible distributions and then form groups, find number of groups and then distribute those groups amongst the 5 people. That we have already done. So that is total and subtract from it this quantity. So I hope things have made some sense. If not, then I would suggest that please go through the lectures again, and hope to see you in the next lecture. Bye bye.